My name is Curly Granger, and I'm one of the artists here that's on display this month. I've been painting since I was 9 years of age. I've never had a lesson. I'm self-taught. Well, what I do, I have a lot of reference materials. Sometimes I do a composition. It may be something I put together from several photographs, and then other times I just have photographs that come to me from friends and relatives. I did a lot of traveling, and so I took a lot of photos. And I paint mostly from those. There are a few times I paint just from my imagination. I just put something together and paint it. A painting the size of, say, a 36 by 48, one of the larger canvases, can take up to 2 to 3 weeks. Most of them settle around 10 days or so. With the photograph over here, where the birds are fishing, actually, that was a place I got photographs from that was, it's no hunting signs posted, and I thought it was interesting that the birds were out there fishing. That piece I named Residence Fishing Only. It was interesting. It was hard to get to the birds. I mean, they kept flying off, but it was an interesting composition. I like plein air painting. I do that from time to time. But mostly I enjoy taking the photos and bringing everything back to the studio. I really get a lot of pleasure out of knowing that someone might pick the piece up. Just enjoying it is pleasurable for me, but pick the piece up, take it home to share with family and friends. And that honors me quite a bit. I mean, you know, I'm honored by that because that's a piece of something that I have done that someone has cared about, or they get particular pleasure out of. And that's my focus, is to paint. I paint for enjoyment, but I also paint because I enjoy seeing other people enjoy my work.
My name is Beth Waldron. I'm originally from 4 Oaks. I currently live in Chapel Hill, and I have a display of wildlife photography at the Clayton Center currently. I got into photography a long time ago, but wildlife photography just in the last 10 years as a form of stress relief. I found that when I walked in nature and took my camera with me, it was really good to connect with the animals and connect with nature, and it was just very de-stressing. All of the photographs I have at the Clayton Center were taken in North Carolina. A lot of them were taken within the city limits of towns. I have found that there's a lot of wildlife living in our urban areas, and a lot of people don't realize that. If we just sort of slow down and take time to look around us, you'll kind of be surprised what you see. Some wildlife I just happened to stumble upon, like the picture of the fox was actually in my parents' backyard one day. Other wildlife I tend to go looking for, and we'll have to camp out and sort of hang out in the woods for long times, like the bears. Those were in eastern North Carolina, and so those tend to be visible mostly very early in the morning or very late in the evening. So some things I just sort of stumble on, but I sort of have my ears and eyes open. Photographing wildlife is sort of like hunting. So it's some of the same strategies that hunters use to find animals I will use to find the wildlife that I photograph. So for example, example, deer obviously have trails through the woods, and there are certain foods that they eat. The owls, sometimes what will alert me to an owl will be small songbirds will be sort of making a racket, and what it is they've spotted an owl, and they don't want that owl near their babies, and so they're making a fuss. So they'll alert me to some type of prey animal nearby. I'm glad that we can finally be in a public space and share the wildlife, and I hope it will encourage people to start getting out and looking to see what wildlife that they have in their own backyard. We have lots of parks and nature trails in the area, and they're wonderful places to take your family, take your children, and go on a nature walks. How many birds can you find? How many red birds can you find? How many bluebirds can you find? And if you start paying attention to looking for animals, soon you're not thinking about that email you've got to reply to, or what was on the news, or whatever bill you've got to pay. You're sort of just in nature and spending time in nature, and that's very relaxing.